I would be lying if I'm like, oh my God, I love the Steelers. My husband's from Pennsylvania, so I kind of have to love the Steelers, but I don't really know anybody else. I used to watch more sports. I don't now, unfortunately.
The Underdoggs will premiere on Prime Video on January 26th. So what can you tell us about your character?
Charisse is a single mom raising a little boy who, has lost his way a little bit, but she's also a woman who is driven and wants to help her community and works at a clinic and just wants to do right by her child and herself, ultimately. So, yeah, and she's the past girlfriend of 2J's in high school and is definitely surprised when he's back. He comes back.
Of course, absolutely. And, ultimately, what made you want to be part of this movie? And are you a fan of football?
I can't say. I would be lying if I'm like, oh my God, I love the Steelers. My husband's from Pennsylvania, so I kind of have to love the Steelers, but I don't really know anybody else. I used to watch more sports. I don't now, unfortunately. But yeah, I was a cheerleader when I was younger. So in high school, junior high and high school. So what made me want to do the movie was, one, I love the script. I love Snoop. I love Charles Stone. Amazon's great. And so it all worked. And they actually made it happen. And I love the end result.
Of course. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And speaking of Snoop, you share a lot of your scenes with him in the film. So how was it working with him throughout the movie?
Horrible. No, I'm kidding. It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, Snoop is one of the kindest, most culturally threaded person ever. Like it's weird because certain people have really bad attitudes, and Snoop could have a bad attitude if he wanted to. He doesn't. He's just a really kind, easy person to be around and just so honest and funny. So he always makes it easy to be around him, whether you're having a drink or you're hanging out and just talking about nothing, the world, whatever. He's just a really good person, a good human.
Absolutely. And we have time for one more question. And along with the Underdoggs, when it comes to this year, you're starring in the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3. How will that upcoming film stand out from the previous two?
You'll have to wait and find out, brother.
I love it. Love it.
And my Wicked Witch laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, looking forward to it. I love Underdoggs. I love you in it. Tika, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And continued success to you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
So the Underdoggs premieres on Prime Video on January 26th. You play Ryan Kaufman, but how would you best describe your character?
Oh, good question. This is the first direct question about him. So Ryan is a very business savvy agent who really wants to make everybody happy. Like all his clients, he doesn't like conflict at all, but he also has a heart and has a soft spot for 2J's because they've been together for so long, and he was with him when he achieved such success, financial success, success in the game. And so it's a little tough because he doesn't return his calls, not because he dislikes him, but because he's got more lucrative clients who are taking up most of his time. So when 2J's comes in, his first reaction is like, I just want to make you happy. And then the second thing is he tries giving him advice to get his business back on track that, some of which he takes, and then obviously at the end doesn't really go in that direction. So I'd describe him as somebody who is caring, but mostly business focused and a little self-centered.
Of course. Now, 2J's is played by Snoop Dogg. What impressed you the most about Snoop Dogg when you work with him?
I think it's so first, his improv skills are on point. Like the first take we did, he dropped the Harold and Kumar reference that made it into the trailer, and I wasn't expecting it at all, which is probably why you don't see my facial reaction on there. But he's obviously very funny. I think more than just the process stuff. I mean, when I saw the screener, I kind of thought, wow, this is, it's Bad News Bears, which of course when you're reading the script. But then when you see Snoop's arc as 2J's, it's so funny and it's with so much heart that whether you were a Snoop fan or not beforehand, you kind of watch this movie going, man, he really like brought both the heart and the comedy in a way that as an actor, I respect and am wonderfully floored by, you know?
Of course. Now, this film does focus on youth football. Are you a fan of football, and do you have a favorite team?
So I was way too skinny of a kid to play football as a kid. I did try. I did like Pop Warner football for 2 weeks and got my ass kicked like way early. I was like, this is not for me. I'm going back to soccer. So I mostly did soccer and baseball. I went to a Pac-10, well now Pac-12, but went to UCLA undergrad. So really, college football was more my speed.
Awesome, awesome. And one last question before I let you go. When it comes to what's next, would you do another project with John Cho if the opportunity presented itself?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we would love to do a fourth Harold and Kumar, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun to do a drama with him as well.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Well, Kal, thank you so much for your time. I really do
Thank you.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah, continued success to you. The Underdogs premieres on Prime Video on January 26th. So, how would you best describe this film?
It's the Bad News Bears set in the Pee Wee football world with Snoop Dogg at the helm.
Yeah.
That's probably the best. I mean, I could go into the, coming of age story about a, middle-aged man who blah, 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 but that's the best bet.
Absolutely. And, obviously, and you kind of alluded to it, this movie is loosely based on Snoop Dogg's journey of being a football coach and eventually led to him creating the Snoop Football League. How much did you know about the impact Snoop made on the community with football in Long Beach before taking on the project?
I knew of Snoop's history in the SYFL and that he had created it. I did not know that it's been about 20 years worth and that there have been over 20 some odd players who've gone on to be in the NFL. In fact, yesterday's game, the Packers had 2 players, and Texas, is it the Titans? Texas's team, the head quarterback also came up in the ranks. So yeah, I was blown away by the magnitude of it. I didn't learn about that until I came on board.
Right. And one of the things that stood out with me with this film is the on-field action. I think the kids look great playing football. So how was it working with the kids throughout the entire filming process?
Oh, working with the kids was great. They were all, quite professional. They were all really charming and talented, especially in terms of, their, I guess, well-grounded portrayals, that they felt very real. That was important to us, very important to Snoop, that the kids come across as real and not overly polished, which sometimes happens with kid actors. And they all took to the football. Kyla, who plays Ghost, she's probably the best out of the actors in terms of playing football. And we also had, shout out to all the other kids, the stunt doubles or the kid doubles, and all the kid players, because we had multiple teams, because we'd have to recycle and bring in kids and take out kids because of kids' hours, which are, quite tight.
Of course, absolutely. And one last question for me before I let you go is, you directed some sports films in the past, such as Mr. 3000 and Uncle Drew. So how much did you enjoy working on your first full-length football movie? And is it something that you always wanted to do? Because I know you directed some episodes of Friday Night Lights, right?
I did do an episode of Friday Night Lights. Yes, that's correct. It wasn't so much about the football, and I love football, but I came on board because I love the story. I'm a big fan of the Bad News Bears from the 70s, and the idea of also cussing children, I thought would be really funny in terms of the comedian in me. But also it's very real. I mean, we're being very realistic about kids, cussing respectfully, not necessarily in front of adults, but nonetheless. So it's just the platform, the stage being football. It was just the stage. But for me, the story of, a washed up, talented ex-football player who ends up learning about himself through children. The experiences of children is very powerful, and it's something that you see repeatedly in my work as a director, is working with talented but extremely flawed characters, and them working through their their personal struggles to realize their superpowers. Whether it be Stan Ross from Mr. 3000 or Jaycen 2J's Jennings here in the Underdogs.
Of course. Well, Charles, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and continued success to you.